Wake up! I'm Doug, and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel. And today on coffee review number 16, we are looking at this single origin coffee from Tanzania. It's so highly graded, it's called AA, and it's from the Mbeya region of Tanzania. So I'm going to pour a couple of my little tasting cups and pull out my trusty book of maps. The book's really called Coffee Obsession by Annette Mulder, and I use it for all sorts of things, along with all sorts of websites and YouTube channels. But this book has a bunch of maps, and they show you usually where your coffee is from. So here on the Tanzania page, and Tanzania is an important country for coffee, and this comes from the Mbeya region, which is down here in the southern highlands. Mbeya, this up-and-coming region, is being driven forward by a younger generation of growers who are producing much of the coffee from the region. I've got a few more notes over here on the co-op and company where this comes from. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But before we dive in, let me remind you to like this video and give it a thumbs up down below. Leave a comment, leave a question, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to get notified when the new videos come out on Mondays. So this is our last African coffee. And this bag is empty. It is just a prop now. But you'll see the picture up here somewhere of the coffee and the unroasted beans and the roasted beans. And then after we do our tasting here, we'll take a little trip to a local roaster that was very interesting. So this is still too hot to drink, but it smells good. This did not go to a real dark roast. I always shoot for medium, and the recommendation on roasting level is light to medium roast. So I went medium, and they're not very dark brown at all. They're pretty nicely uniform. And wow, they smell good. It doesn't jump out and attack you, but when you go in and look for everything, on the nose, the roasted beans are kind of creamy, fruity. Get a little bit of a hint of black pepper on the end, which I've never smelled in a roasted bean before. It's just interesting and different and complex. There was lots in there. Once I turned the camera on, my nose didn't work very well. But just 15 minutes ago, I was smelling all sorts of wild stuff in there. And in the brewed coffee, and I don't talk much about how I make my coffee, but it's an automatic drip coffee maker, an OXO Barista Brain. And I use the same water and the same grind and the same filter, paper filter. I put the beans that I've usually roasted in there and do the same thing every time. Filtered water, filtered soft water. Wow, this nose is confusing me now. There's a fruitiness to it. There's a hint of earthiness or chocolate cocoa notes. A toasted graininess is often a fault in coffees, but this isn't what I mean. I mean like a toasted, rich, cooked, browned, lovely, well-handled grain. Okay, I'm going in. That's fairly light-bodied, light to medium. Not a lot of base notes, no earthiness, no cocoa, no chocolate. And it's still pretty hot. Those might develop, but sometimes they do. I'm not getting anything here. It's a vague fruitiness in the kind of in the middle palate. Could be a plum or an apricot or a mango or peach. And I can't. Might be a brown sugary note too. The molasses part of brown sugar might be suggesting itself. It is light. The tastes are faint. I guess the fruitiness might be coming out a little bit more. So this is good. I like it. Pleasant, fruity, in a vague sort of way. So the fruitiness got more intense. There's more berry character, more berry notes as it cooled off. Wow, yeah, that went fast. So I'll start over with a slightly warmer batch. So I'm liking what's here. Can't say there's an earthiness or any kind of cocoa with it. No kind of nuttiness. Not getting vanilla. Not getting much in the way of sweetness, but it is kind of a fruity sweetness, and maybe the brown sugar note is connected to sweetness. Or maybe it's just a dark taste. There is not a lot in the way of acidity. It's not real bright, but there's a little hint of acidity, maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't call it bright though. I can sort of detect it popping its head out. It might be a tad lemony, tad orangey, but it is. That's just well blended. Everything's integrated together into a unit. It's really hard to pick apart and tell you what the notes are. So there's kind of a range of fruitiness with berry notes at the cooler end. And not cocoa. There might be wood things, because there's a lot of flavor, but none of them, very few of them evoke or reminiscent of foods. So it might be like an oak or a cedar or some other kind of fragrant wood. But it's not strong and assertive either. It's mixed in there with everything else. So I sure like it. Let's see what their tasting notes are. Silky, but is not a flavor, with notes of burgundy, pear, and tangerine. Okay. So burgundy, pear, and tangerine. There is a vague fruitiness that could hold all those things. Okay, well, as long as I got the bag here, I'll say that this came from the Mbeya region of Tanzania, which I already said, grown at 1,400 to 2,000 meters. The varieties are Bourbon and Typica. The process is wet processed, and it came from Tembo Coffee Company, which works with a lot of different smaller co-ops and groups in different parts of Tanzania. And I brought along some literature from Tembo, which is fairly interesting. But now I'm going to do cream. I'm going to pour the cream first. And I'm going to see if I get that characteristic transformation I get when I add cream to most of these. Definitely smell a buttery butterscotch, butterfat type nose. It's in there. Some of the notes turn into cocoa, turn into milk chocolate, turn into chocolate milk. Wow, it's amazing what a transformation that is. So there it is. No cocoa that I can detect in the coffee itself. Put in the cream. All of a sudden you've got milk chocolate or chocolate milk. That's funny. Why They mean totally different things just by changing the word order. Buttery, rich, creamy, caramely, and a little chocolate, like Nestle's Quick or Hershey's syrup or something like that. So that gets me every time. That's a winner. So I wanted to mention a little bit about the co-op or the coffee company that provided this to the Smoke and Beans company or their importer. The text here mentioned Twiga coffee comes from the washing stations in the Southern Highlands from the cooperative Tembo Coffee Company. It's sun-dried, graded, and sorted at Tembo's facility in Mbeya. But it didn't really explain what Twiga was. So I looked up the website for Tembo Coffee Company and found how they worked with one particular group of farmers to improve their output in terms of quantity, improve it in terms of quality. In 2012, they put out 8 tons. In 2013, they put out 14 tons. In 2014, they put out 28 tons of coffee, and of this, 20 tons was their lowest quality stuff. Like this is the lowest quality. This was pretty low. This was 20 tons of this lowest quality, but they also had 8 tons of Twiga. And then this year, they had 24 tons of Twiga and just 2 tons of the lower quality stuff. So that's pretty dramatic. And then this was purchased this was from the 2018 harvest. I enjoyed it a lot last year in 2019, and I just finished off the bag. So if they've been improving quality and quantity that much, those farmers are getting a lot more money for their increased production, and they're getting a lot more money for their quality. So that's one of the things that co-ops do, is educate, help, guide, train, and then they're also involved in community efforts to just help the people have better lives. So I like a lot of the co-op stories I come across. And our second topic today is a visit to a local roaster. Last time in video 15, I gave some sources to get some unroasted beans, and you can get roasted ones at all those places too. But I mentioned Orleans Coffee, and I shot a bunch of video in their roasting room, packaging room, talked to the owner. So I'm going to show some of the video clips and pictures that I took while I was there, and it wasn't exactly the way I pictured it, because you never see the unroasted beans. The green coffee beans are never really shown going into the roasters. It's amazing how efficient they are and how quick, and how everything's done on a pretty quick schedule. Most of the video is just roasted coffee that's cooling off on this air table. So this big table's got holes and a big mechanized rake going around. And there's a lot of holes with cool air coming up through to cool off that big load of coffee. It's probably 60 or 70 pounds. That just got dumped out, and it was very recently. It's 400F, 380. Once it gets to the right spot, they don't want it to cook anymore. So they cool it off fast on those big tables. So you'll see all those parts, but what you never see is the green beans going into the roasters. But if you look, there's a little sight glass or a little window. You know, these are big drums, tumble around like a dryer in a laundromat. But there's a little sight glass where you can see the light green, light tan, lighter colored beans rolling around and tumbling inside, but you never see the beans going in. So I think the video starts out with the biggest roaster, and it's just about to be released. You see the roaster pulling out this tiny little tray in the door and looking at the color of the actual beans, because he's been watching, he's been monitoring, he's got an idea of what temperature he wants to cut it off at. And he's just at the last few seconds. So he's there, he checks the beans, sees it's good, and plugs it back in, and then starts doing the work to dump the whole batch, and I think that's how the video starts after talking to the owner, Bob. And then after all the video and pictures and things, I'll come back and taste some of their products. So I bought a couple of things that they roasted and unroasted beans that I roasted. I'll come back after. So you're Bob Arsenault?
Yes, sir.
And you've been having this business for a few years?
A few years. I would say it's bought the company from the previous owner in 2007. I've been a 12-year employee here, and do the math, I think it's been another 12 or 13 years now.
Yeah. So I haven't known about it for very long, but I've picked up some of your unroasted beans and some of your roasted beans and sampled everything, and it's pretty good.
Thank you very much. You try hard.
So who are your customers for this sort of thing? I noticed there are small retail bags, and I think you deliver to businesses also. So
our core business, Doug, is selling to coffee houses in town, out of state. We've helped set up many coffee houses. We get a lot of contacts saying, hey, I'm looking to open a coffee house. We have people come in, sit down with them, find out what they want to do, what their idea is, what their budget is and concept, and help them work through which equipment they really need, kind of training they need, and provide them with that equipment and find the right kind of coffee program. Some people want really high-end coffee program, and we can help them with that. And some people are looking for something that might be a little more not as exotic, so to speak. And we have a wide range of coffees to accommodate every kind of business model.
Okay, so you're not just sending them coffee, you're helping them set up a business, or you're providing some of the coffee smarts.
Exactly.
So that they'll be successful.
Like, for example, Cafe in Metairie. It's been open 26 years, maybe 27 years now. And we help them set up in the very beginning, and over the years, changing out for a new brewer when it's time, changing out for a new espresso machine when it's time, changing up the coffee program, and barista training, service of equipment and so forth, and giving them exactly what they're looking for.
Okay, so this room is kind of a demonstration room of the different equipment.
That's right.
That you can provide or
provide
training on?
Equipment is always moving in and out of here. And we've got a La Marzocco espresso machine behind you, a new bun grinder. It's a very new model. There's a super automatic Faima espresso machine that a customer bought that we're programming it, testing it, and it'll be placed in their business as soon as they're ready to open up.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
So it's always coming and going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially this time of year, everyone's thinking about iced coffee and frozen coffee, granita. So there's a couple of manufacturers that sell these granita machines, and so it's a hot item. Everybody's got to sell their frozen coffee,
especially in New Orleans.
Absolutely. Only 8 months a year.
Okay, well that sounds great. So I'm gonna wander around in the back and hopefully get a little video of the roasting machines going in.
That's right.
Having things go in and things come out.
That's right.
Looking very different.
So you'll talk to Kyle back there and Sean. Sean's one of my sons. And so they're both doing a great job roasting. Tuesday's a big roasting day. We have a lot of deliveries tomorrow and Thursday, and so everything's roast to order. So they're working on a formula of just how much they have to roast every day, and every coffee has its own profile. We've got a couple of roasters with computer program profiles, and so coffee's always extremely consistent. We go through a lot of coffee, a lot of espresso. It's amazing how much espresso that we roast for all the restaurants and coffee houses throughout, out of town, out of state, as I said before. So Tuesday's a big roasting day, so there definitely ought to be something for you to see.
Okay, great. Sounds great.
All right, well, have fun.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
You bet.
Okay.
They have chemistry, and I thought Michael A. was one of the best color guys I've ever heard. You pair Michael A. with that southern, Atlanta, right, Michael, the New York, Connecticut, McMahon. It was an natural. And so when we started looking for somebody, that stayed on, and I was like, Michael Hayes can do this. I don't want a free bird. Have him be a free bird. He's going to be Michael Hayes. And Vince just had in his mind that Michael Hayes was a free bird, that he gave him a shot a long time ago, they blew the chance, and he wasn't interested, give him another chance this time.
This is why I run my next trip, because I don't have to go anywhere.
Timing me and everything. We really needed somebody that could kind of get free. And he went down. He was great. Didn't like him. Liked the charming son of a bitch. And, you know, he was on. Gotta cut that hair.
Okay, it's been 4 minutes since I poured the hot water in, so I'm going to break through the crust, mix it all up, and then I'll pull out the last little floaty bits of grounds. Okay, I think they're ready to taste. So here we're cupping 3 coffees from Orleans Coffee. This is a Tanzania pea berry, so similar to the one I roasted and tasted from Smoking Beans. This is one of Orleans Coffee's espresso blends, Espresso del Giorno. And I just treated it like the rest of them. And this is Guatemalan Hueve Tenango, which I purchased unroasted and roasted myself on July 9th, it says here. And the beans are beautiful, dark brown and uniform and wonderful. So I'm going to go through and smell these and taste them. Kind of fruity on the nose. Richer. More full body than my Tanzania AA from Mbeya. So floral quality or fruitiness. The floral might just be on the nose. I don't eat flowers much, but it's the palate is a complex mixture of fruitiness. Berries, plums, peach apricot, that sort of thing. And deeper than my Tanzania, I'm getting some cocoa, some chocolatey, some earthy notes here that I didn't really get in mine. They were minimal. This one's pretty obvious. Maybe the brewing method is causing a little bit of a difference because everything's in here. The grounds, all the oils, everything that might be taken out by a paper filter, everything's in here. My auto drip preparation went through a paper filter. So this is really good. A little different, a lot of the same character, and a few differences than my Tanzania. So I should have brought a drinking water rinse to cleanse my palate, but oh well. Now going on to the espresso blend. They say they've had the same blend in use here for 25 years. So I'm not getting pronounced fruitiness. There is an earthiness, the cocoa. Maybe a kind of nuttiness. I'm not sure what it would be, pecan or almond or... Walnut, something sweet, more like a pecan. Pecan or walnut, I'd say. Oh, that's good. It's not dark and rich in this particular preparation, but I might pull a shot of espresso if I'm if everything works right. So that is good and very promising, and I could drink it that way. I could make a pot just like that, and it'd be fine. More grounds than this one. Central America, Guatemalan, Huehuetenango. A little fruity, a little more bright and acidic. I think there's a little earthiness and cocoa note there too. I did a Guatemalan Antigua when I was passing through Central America, and it was a little more integrated and tightly packed together. Hard to pull out notes. This is fruity and some cocoa, earthy, maybe nuttiness here too. But I like it. It's promising. And I enjoy the pot that I made auto drip on this, and I will make some more. Because I have the other half of this bag in another bag. So these coffees are just what you'd expect, just like my other ones. I can do a decent job of roasting their green beans, and of course they are professional roasters and they do a good job roasting theirs. So I think I'm going to go pull a shot of this as espresso and see how deep and rich that is. Be right back. So here's my double shot of the Espresso del Giorno. Smells very rich. And my espresso skills are poor. Still learning the machine, all the settings, all the gadgets. Rich, deep. Very coffee-like. So I like the flavor. I just don't do espresso drinks or fancy lattes or latte art or any of that stuff. But I think I'm going to like the flavors and putting together blends and trying single origin coffees as espresso. So this works out well. So I'll put links to Orleans Coffee down in the description. And let me remind you to like the video, give it the thumbs up, leave a question, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to get notified when the new videos come out on Mondays. So stay tuned for some more high-end grocery store coffees and coffee shop coffees coming next time. Cheers!